What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, and that is for good reason. And that reason is because I have been working on building my very first drum course, and it's called the Drum Cover Crash Course. If you want to hear more about that, I'll tell you at the end of this video, because in this video I'm focusing on the beautiful concept of the spirit of drums, or the spirit of being a drummer. Now what I mean by that is that being a drummer is more than just playing the drums, although that's a pretty big part of it. But being a drummer, or being a musician of any kind, is a deep and spiritual privilege and responsibility. Right? We bring beauty to the world. We are creators of worlds, because when you create music, you're creating a world of an experience for yourself and for others who are listening. And so when we learn about the spirit of drums, we're talking about who you are before and after the drums. Who's the person behind the beat. And this goes in all the way back to the day you were born and how you live your life. I was learning about the history of drums and percussion, actually learning in this book called Drumming at the Edge of Magic by Mickey Hart. Mickey Hart was one of the drummers for the Grateful Dead, which was one of the biggest bands back in the 60s and 70s, a rock and roll band, and they were very much experimenting with the power of music. And people that would watch them and go to their shows would experience something bigger than just a musical experience. They had a spiritual experience. And I believe strongly that it came from the musicians themselves, their intention and who they were as people going into the music, and where the music was coming from was a deep spiritual place. And in his book, Mickey Hart goes into the history of drums and percussion all the way back to some of the first drums ever made and what they were used for. And one of the cool things that stood out to me is that shamans would go sometimes for 6 weeks or 2 months at a time and go into solitude. Let's say they would walk into the forest alone with only a drum, and they would sit there and play with the drum, different rhythms, for hours and hours and hours. And the rhythms of the drum would bring them into higher states of consciousness. It would help them tap into something greater, something deeper about the universe, and they would come to deep understanding and wisdom through this practice. And not only that, but the actual making of the drum was also part of the whole ritual, where they would go out and choose a special kind of wood and get special kind of skin from specific animals, and they would decorate the drum. This is beautiful history, because you see that playing the drums is not about smashing the cymbals and seeing how fast you can get your double bass pedal. Although that's all fine and dandy, that's good stuff. But don't forget to tap into the depths of drums, to the depths of music and rhythm and sound itself. Sometimes I'll sit down at the kit and just play on one tom for a good 10 minutes. Get every sound out of that thing, let it ring, hit the rim, really connect with the drum and see how the drum affects you on an energetic level. Try this out yourself. Pick one drum on your set, maybe even a cymbal, and just play around with that one sound and see how it makes you feel. See what it brings up inside of you. Now you're starting to connect into the spirit of being a drummer. You're actually energetically interacting with your instrument. And now when you get to build that kind of depth within yourself, now you can actually transfer those experiences to other people. And when you're doing this with a group, let's say a band, this is a very powerful energy. This is something that I'm working on with my band. And all the great bands had this bond, but a bond that was based on the depth of life. It wasn't just based on sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but they had a certain searching mentality, searching for the depths of the spirit behind the music. And that's really where we start to bring extra beauty into the world. There's so much music out there, there's so many musicians. Let's be the musicians that are bringing something really deep and valuable to the world. We don't need another pop song. We need more beauty and love and depth in this world. That's why I'm focusing on the spirit of drums. On my channel, we talk about everything except for how to play. And the reason for that is because I believe that the best way to learn how to play is to play with other musicians or to play with music. And that brings me to my course. The Drum Cover Crash Course is a course on how to play awesome drum covers. And not only play drum covers, but also record awesome drum videos. Because I know from my experience, in my early years of drumming, that's how I learned. I didn't want to learn notes. I didn't want to have teachers. That didn't work for me. But what worked for me was playing music in my ears, focusing on what the drummer's doing and trying to imitate him. And that's how I learned drums. You know, obviously along the way I would check out some lessons on YouTube or on different websites, or I would ask a drummer to show me a thing or two. And those are always great pointers and stuff, but really what got me to play the drums and to understand how to play drums within the context of music was playing with music, playing drum covers. So my course is a full breakdown on how to pick the right song based on your skill level, how to break down the song into separate parts and to learn each part separately, and then how to put it all together and not only play the song but make the song yours, to actually give your own unique sound into the song so that you can develop your artistic fingerprint. That's why I love drum covers, and that's why I made this course. So if you want to check out the course, click the link in the bottom of this video and it'll take you straight to that course. Going back to the spirit of drums, here's something to walk away with. Sit down by your drum set the next time you're ready to go practice, and before you start playing, just look at your drums, notice the shapes, the sizes, the colors, and start to connect with it energetically. Start to develop feelings, right? See how each one is making you feel. Start to connect with it as if it's a living being, because it really is. It's made out of wood, it's metal, it's from the earth. These are all living beings that have their own personality, right? Each one's sound and color and shape is its own personality. Start to connect with it on a personal level. Then choose one drum, start playing on that for a good 5-10 minutes, and really get everything out of it. Really squeeze the juice out of it. Get every sound you can out of it, and see what comes from that. And then go about your practice, and you'll see, like, if you develop a nice 5-minute conversation with one piece, your relationship to that piece changes within the music itself. So now you're playing a beat, and every time you hit that cymbal, it's like, whoa, that's the cymbal. You might even want to give that cymbal a name, you know, or a number, or a sound, you know, a title, so that you can relate to it. And remember that the drums are an instrument, meaning the drums are a vehicle for your spirit, yourself, to be expressed in the world. So when you find your beauty, when you find your message, you're able to let that spread through the drums. That's it for this video, guys. It's good to be back. We're going to be exploring a lot more of the spirit of drums, what it means to be a drummer, and I'm excited to get into all that with you guys. Don't forget to check out that course if you're interested in making cool drum covers. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.